Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. Content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Southern Fried Paranormal with Len Dorman featuring Bones. Catch us on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Spreaker, Facebook, Stream, and everywhere else you catch your podcasts. And of course, WLFE-DB.com. Now, from the backwoods of southeast Arkansas, right beside the Bayou Bartholomew, the longest bayou on the planet, broadcasting from downtown metropolitan Cane Creek Township, here is your host, Len Dorman.
Oh boy. Okay. Wow. Nothing is working. So everything's kind of crazy. I've been trying to cut the music off after about 10 seconds of music. I was trying to run the intro to the show. This is absolutely nuts. Let me try to see if the intro will run again. Will not run. Okay. This is a mess. I've got indicator says I've got some. Well, there it goes again. I had some pretty good internet speed, and then I just lost it.
It happened.
And this is absolutely nuts.
It happens sometimes.
Okay. I'm assuming we're back. It wouldn't let me run anything there for a second. I was going to go to my normal intro, and you keep flashing out. I put you in, you flash right back out.
Yeah, I think you've got like some kind of lag.
There you go.
Like you played your intro and everything, so it did play.
It did play. Okay.
Yeah, it did.
See, I had no evidence of that.
Yeah, I know.
So, okay, we'll just go from here. What I was saying about, I'm just hoping the other show finished recording because we got kind of cut off. I'm assuming it did. Anyway, come to find out later on, a day or two later, that at the other end, a mile away from the cemetery, there was an accident. A motorcycle rider had been going through a green light, and somebody came at very high speed, over 70 miles an hour, and ran the red light and T-boned the motorcycle.
Oh no!
So you know what happens when you T-bone a motorcycle at 70 miles an hour?
Yeah.
And he died instantly. His name was Roach, and apparently I was the first person he sensed that wasn't driving a car. I probably didn't want anything to do with a car to getting hit by one.
Yeah.
And he appeared to me because the cemetery is kind of like a portal area. It's easy access to the paranormal, so it was probably easier for him to pop in there. And then when he followed me home, he found a kindred spirit, and they just took off together.
Well, I think, Lynn, what you're trying to say is,
what does that sound like to you?
It sounds like that you were the closest open person to see his, like, he could see your light. So what I tell people is when spirits tend to come around you, they need something from you. They want something from you. They want to be heard. Okay. All of us who are in tune, we hear on different frequencies. Okay. We see on different frequencies. So this tells to me that you had a moment there, an interaction with that spirit, because you were the closest light to him that he could get to. So he got what he needed from that interaction when he went home with you. I don't know, because people think that spirits stay with you. That's not true, and they're not bound to you at all. There's different types of, spiritual interactions, different types of beings, different types of entities, but with someone who passes away, he has just got a traumatic accident that's going to jar him loose. He's confused, so he just needed someone. And sometimes I woke up in the middle of the night, Lynn, and had like a whole line of spirits beside my bed who one by one told me thank you, and I had no clue what I did. So you have to look at your higher purpose, your soul, what your soul is doing that your conscious, your physical body is not knowing. So that's what happens when people says like they attract spirits. It's because the people who are open, we're like a lighthouse for them. We're a lighthouse for people who need healing in this physical body. People find you, and you become that person who is a healer for other people, the person who they come to talk to, the person somebody randomly tells their issues to. So that's what you were experiencing. I'm so surprised that you are not, like, you just needed someone to tell you like how in tune you are, huh?
Well, I find it hard to believe.
Yeah, I understand that. I get that.
And so, sometimes I got into paranormal just being an investigator. I had no idea that I was capable any more than any other human being.
Yeah,
But
most
I'm
people
since
don't.
learning that.
Go ahead.
What were you going to say?
Most people that get into the paranormal don't expect to get so open to the paranormal. And it's because if you think about it, when you go into locations, our auditory, we're dependent on our senses, right? So we take away the lighting. People say, well, why do you investigate in the dark? It takes away your senses. So you have to depend on the other senses, right? You have to make up for it. So let's include the sixth sense, which scientifically done, does not exist to people out there because you can't prove it, whatever. Okay. So if you take someone's senses away from them, you are heightened with other senses, such as your third eye, your intuition. So what happens is, as paranormal investigators, is you become more open, more sensitive to it. We are all capable of this. We are all so much capable of this, but it's you who depends on how far you get into it and how much you allow yourself to grow, because that's our purpose here on this earth. The paranormal wasn't just something there that is just, out of the ordinary. We are out of the ordinary. That's something so it's us who is trying to understand that energy. In order to understand that energy, we have to understand ourselves.
Okay. I've got a friend of mine. I've talked to several other people here on the show. They investigate a lot by putting a sleeping mask on.
Yes, because it covers your eyes.
Themselves where they can't, of sight.
Yes, I actually use deprivation.
What do you think about that?
I think any kind of deprivation is awesome. Awesome. Some people use the Estes method, I had no clue what the Estes method was, because I started paranormal investigating when there was no such thing as a lot of this stuff that's there today. But you just innately started doing it, and they just gave it a name, I guess. I do deprivation. It's easier for me to cover my ears and be deafened. So I use gun range deprivation. headphones whenever I go into locations when we're filming, because the group that we work with films their documentaries on the paranormal. So we're coming in and we're educating them and letting the families know what's going on and everything. But whenever I go in, it's easier to do out of body experiences like that, by the way, if you take away some of your senses. And for me, it is my hearing. If I can deprivate my ears, and it helps me focus, because my ADD is like, if I hear something, it really just makes me focus on that when I can actually focus on in here. And it helps you to tune in a lot more.
Okay. I've done it without naming it, because a lot of times you see this lighting behind me, right?
Yeah.
That bulb, if I move my head this way, it's kind of bright.
Yeah.
This camera that I've got, and I did not plan this, it's just a standard podcast webcam camera.
Yeah.
It's a camera microphone combo, so nothing fancy.
Mine either.
It's just a good thing to start. I figured I'll improve the show as it goes. I'll just later on invest in a better mic, better camera, whatever. But these bulbs were bought last year at Halloween, supposedly UV bulbs. They are not UV bulbs. They're if I turn around and look at them, I can barely see them. They're just a very low red light.
Right, but the webcam picks it up.
But this camera's picking up a lot of infrared light for some reason. And these bulbs, instead of being UV, they were improperly marked. Somebody stuck them in the wrong box. They're not UV bulbs. They're IR bulbs.
Oh, wow.
And I have a two UV bulbs in the ceiling overhead light.
Nice.
So what you get is a pink. It's like I'm broadcasting on a full spectrum camera, which is what I do most of my investigations with, is a full spectrum camera.
Right.
So this is the kind of lighting I investigate with. Seeing myself, this is what I usually see through one of the viewfinders of my cameras during investigation. So if I'm using a strictly IR light, I'm in a very dark room. And usually I try to get where it's kind of quiet.
Right.
And if I go into a meditative state, I close my eyes. I can't see much anyway. So I can still hear. My ears are not plugged up, but there's not much to hear.
Right. Yeah.
So I've always investigated taking a lot of my hearing and most of my sight away.
Yeah. And it's the best way to do it, because it's not about the physical world. What it is when
if I'm sitting still, the only thing I really feel is what I'm sitting on.
Yeah. Right. And when people are investigating that world, okay, so we talk about this and I teach this in a way that is easy for people to understand. Okay, it's holler talk, mountain woman talk. So we live in a world of plane of existence. So we have our physical world. It's the stuff that we can hear, we can taste, we can touch. It's everything here, right? This matrix that we live in. So our escape from that matrix is exactly by doing that, is to go in and to shut all this down and use our consciousness to travel. This body, and we are trapped in this body. It's just the way it is until the day that we pass away. We disconnect from this physical body and we move on to our next cycling of life and our lessons that we need to work on. But it is, God, man, I totally forgot what I was talking about. There's my ADD. It kicked in. Lynn, help me out. Shoot.
You were talking about depriving your senses.
Oh, depriving your senses. So I don't even know where I was going with it, to be honest with you. I mean, I did know, but now I don't know. Oh, this is the part of having ADD. If you find yourself more apt to be an ADD or ADHD or on the autism spectrum, you are very in tune spiritually. But the deprivation, yeah. So
my wife is ADD.
Yeah.
We were talking about deprivating the depriving either hearing or sight.
Or I got it.
The touch thing, the only thing I feel is what I'm sitting on.
Yeah. So the planes of
Okay.
existence, the way we're working with that is if you're in this physical body, something that is in the paranormal world, depending on what kind of plane of existence they're on. So if you're dealing with a spirit who has crossed over, you're going to bet that they're in between somewhere in an etheric and an astral. And another thing is people think that spirits, people who pass, are stuck here. They're not. What you're interacting with is an imprint of who they were. So if you talk about out of body experience, it has every, I mean, really, if you really sit and think about it and research it and really just meditate on it, you start to put puzzle pieces together. So we're dealing with the plane of existence. We are the ones going into their plane of existence, and we're the ones asking these questions to them on their plane of existence. What better way to do that is to meditate and really push your body out there, your soul body, your out of body experience. You're there, you're putting yourself on their plane of existence. So the story earlier that I said about my astral projection, about the man who walked, he was near my bed, right? He was walking toward me. He had no clue that I was there at all. I was a spirit in his world. So I think people need to think of it more along them lines than it just being that, oh, they're in our realm. No, you can't, because they are points on this earth where we look at geological ley lines. We look at what's going on around us. We're talking about portal actions here. And it's not like everybody makes it out to be a portal of demons or whatever. There is lower planes of existence and there's higher planes of existence. The energy of that portal or that place in time, whatever's happened there, has a lot to do with it. If you go into locations and you're looking at residentially, you have people who have negative experiences. It could be along the lines of, hey, are we working with some energy that has created some kind of like pull in the system? So it's taking them two sides, the paranormal, and you're looking at the other aspect of it, which is another planes of existence. It makes more sense. It makes more sense, and you can understand it better about how to go about investigating it and understanding it more. So for me, again, that guy that was walking toward me had no clue that I was there. He didn't even feel me there, but I seen him as plain as day. But the thing about it is I was in his world. He wasn't in mine. Oh, I think Lynn is off here. But anyway, so that happens. I mean, if people would think of it more along the lines of that, I think the research in the paranormal would go a little bit further. So that's what I'm trying to do with, my partners and our people that we work with, is trying to educate people on the spiritual aspect of it, that, hey, it's not black and white. There's actually in betweens. It's Roy G. Biv, baby. It's you really... Oh, I'm so passionate about this stuff, if you couldn't tell, but it's just because I want people to see it how I've been taught, and how I've been taught is by spirit, and that's the universe, and it's trusting in the universe, and it's trusting in yourself, it's trusting in your intuition, and we're not taught that, and it's time. And I'm just gonna sit here and talk to myself some more. It's been a great interview, Lynn. I think he's coming. Hello?
And the company I work with, which is the only way to get unlimited internet here, they're still working out all the kinks of working with Verizon now.
Yeah, I hate that.
Because this is new. I just got this internet connection last week, so I'm working on still less than a week having this connection, and it's a bit wonky. I may have to get another antenna. We wanted to use this antenna that I've had before to see. Oh, you're showing off your tattoos?
Oh, well, I was actually scratching my arm, but sure. What is my tattoo?
Okay. But it's it's something I just got to deal with.
Yeah,
I,
it's
I have no
okay.
choice. Any other
I
internet
totally
connection I got
understand.
is not a whole lot better than this one, and it's limited, which means I do one show, and for the rest of the month I'm on dial-up speed.
That's rough, man.
This is a mess. But what can I say? What can I say? What can I do? It is what it is.
You know what? It's not about.
And
It's
this
not
is
about
this
all
is the
that.
most
Lynn.
trouble I've had doing a show.
Well, it happens with me, and especially the energy connection. But also, a shit like this happens to me all the time. I mean, all the time. I'm the queen of technical issues because I live back in the mountains. I live way back in the mountains in the boonies. So, it's not about that. If people want to listen to you, they're going to listen to the message. And that's the bottom line of it.
A little bit about where I live. I live obviously southeast Arkansas, which is pretty deep in bayou country. In fact, I'm about a quarter of a mile or less from the longest bayou on the planet, the
Oh,
Bartholomew
cool.
Bayou.
Nice.
The Arkansas River used to run in this route 25,000 years ago, and the river shifted course, and of course left a big ditch. And that ditch filled up with water, and that's the definition of a bayou. It looks like a creek or a stream, except there's no water flow.
Right. Just stagnant.
And that down the street, I've got a pretty big fishing lake they made. It was man-made, where Cane Creek flowed into the lake. So they built some dikes and basically let the creek and the Bartholomew Bayou fill up the lake. So they made a fishing lake. But Bartholomew was big enough where they ran steam until 1910.
Wow. So that part of Arkansas that you're in,
And
is
it was
it
a
the
big
part
trade
that y'all
route by
have,
the
like,
Native
around
Americans
there?
before that.
So that part of Arkansas that you're around, do they sound like me?
A lot of them do, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a very rural. Even though there's a college, 25, 30, about 30 miles from here, Monticello College, and you got one in Pine Bluff about 35 miles the other way. There's not a lot of people that are really educated, especially the ones my age. A lot of them barely got through high school. There's not many technical jobs here. You got one of my neighbors. He is an electrician at nearby wire factory, where people just come in there and just run machines, and he fixes the electrical things around. He's one of the most educated people in the plant. And there's nothing wrong with that. People, the world needs working people. We need more working people than geniuses.
Yeah. Well, now,
just
don't
have
get me
geniuses,
wrong
nothing's
now.
going to
Just because
work.
I got this
They got nothing to
accent
work
don't
with.
mean I'm ignorant.
It's kind of a waste.
That accent don't mean we are ignorant. It just means that's our Appalachian dialect. But the thing about it is I am in Cow Country. I am, and they are very undereducated too, and it's because this is what they was forced to do to grow up factories. It takes me about 2 hours to get to the interstate. Either way, whether I'm going to Kentucky, West Virginia, wherever it is, and the hospital is like 30, 40 minutes away, and that's the closest Walmart too. And I love it. I love it here. I have lived in South Carolina before, and I've been a lot of places. I like to visit, but I like to come back home, and I like to crawl up in my holler on my hill and be my hermit self. But I have heard people from Arkansas talk And I was like, wait a minute, are you from like my area? No, it's just, I realized that the Ozark Mountains and how the Appalachian was is all part of one. And it kind of, it's just cool. It's cool to think that our accent is heard other places. Most people think I'm from like deep south.
Right. And of course, I'm from Georgia, so my accent's different than the Arkansan accent. And you have a little bit difference in sound from here in southern Arkansas rather than northern, because you get up in the mountains. They sound a lot like you because they're a lot like you. They live in the mountains.
Right, exactly, because we're one of the same.
We live in little valleys and little hollers. A lot of people don't realize Arkansas only has 3 million people. We have some pretty decent politicians. See. But we have a current governor who's he can only serve 2 terms. Is at the end of his 2nd term, and we're electing another governor this fall. Some people are talking about him running for president in 2 years.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton came from this state, so you have some exceptional people coming from Arkansas. I'm not trying to say all of them stupid. They're not.
Yeah.
But
it's a backwoods.
Everybody has a little different accent. It's rural. It's rural.
Yeah.
It's rural part of the country.
I get it.
The biggest exporter out of Arkansas is rice and chicken.
Yeah. See, here it's fried taters, soup, beans, cornbread.
Yeah, Tyson's big here. Tyson's a big company to work for here.
Oh, I know they got a big company in Iowa too. I have friends that work out there, and I used to travel, bless my heart, to Iowa a lot. That state gets me. It stinks, and it's so flat.
Arkansas is flat here. Because we're basically northern Louisiana here at this point. We're only maybe 125, 150 feet over sea level here.
Right. Yeah, I gotcha. It's cool.
Where you get up to Little Rock is basically uphill all the way from here to Little Rock, which is about 80 miles away. And then if you go north from Little Rock, you're still going uphill till you get to the mountains in northern Arkansas.
Yeah.
Well, we live kind of on the border, but right on the edge of the Mississippi River Valley.
Gotcha.
So my house almost sits at a confluence of 3 geological formations.
Cool.
You got the lowland floodplains of the deep south in Louisiana. You've got the Piedmont coming in from northern and western Arkansas. And then you've got the Mississippi River Valley, and they almost meet right here. The
gotcha.
Bayou Bartholomew is kind of used as a border, and I live right here, literally on the border of 3 formations, which is kind of funny. I live on a hill, so no telling who has lived here many years ago as far as Native Americans go. Occasionally, I'll hear a Native American flute playing in my house.
Really?
I have a walkthrough that's a hunter. He's obviously a hunter. He doesn't interact. It's a non-intelligent spirit. Now the Indian, it's a female. I don't. Yeah, correct. She will not interact with me, so I don't know if she's intelligent and just not want to communicate, or if it's a residual haunting. She's just a walk through too, like the hunter. It's a white male hunter that walks through here.
Or that is a piece of time replaying, and you're just experiencing it.
Smell. Or true. Yeah. Hill. There's the Native Americans were covering, especially this area, for centuries before Columbus came over.
Right.
So there's, and being right where a pretty good sized creek runs into the bayou.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. The bayou picked up a little bit of flow from the creek running into it
Right.
before they built the lake. The creek just ran into the bayou, and emptied itself into the bayou.
Yeah.
So that
We
was
have-
2 highways, and I live just a half mile from the confluence.
Yeah. I've done a lot of work out there. Like, it seems like up and down the Mississippi. One of my favorite places to go, because it's nostalgia to me now, because I've been out there so many times, but is the camp right off the Mississippi. It's right out there where there's a massive amount of mounds. I've went out there and played my flute. I play the flute. Played the flute and got to like experience the mounds and that energy. It was really, really cool. I have like such nostalgia with the Mississippi. Just like different times and places that I've been along the Mississippi for traveling, and got to interact with like some of the haunted locations along there. And I don't know, it's just really cool. It's one of the nostalgic places. And actually, right there at Nauvoo, it's like right at the Iowa line. So they have like the last or oldest drawbridge or whatever that goes across the Mississippi. So it's really cool.
Okay. Well, it's again halfway, so we need to throw my advertising up again.
Okay.
The internet just picked up a little bit of speed, so, and it's getting later. This is one reason I have my show so late at night, is because earlier in the evening, I didn't want those slots. I could have gotten the slots before the people who have them now got them, but I didn't want them because I was concerned about internet speed.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of
Well,
this is
smart. I got you.
not
Yeah.
only computers attached to it, because it goes through cell phone towers, cell phone usage.
Yeah.
And late at night, like if we waited till midnight, the signal would be easily 3 to 4 times stronger than it is now.
Right. Yeah.
So we're just going to have to doing a show this early at 9:30. Just have to deal with what we got now. Here I was going to go back into the Gypsy Holistic Fair that I will be appearing at when it is in Hot Springs, Arkansas, next spring. But this one's advertising the Texas event, Fresno, Texas Convention Center, this weekend. So if you're into that, they have a lot of guests. They cover a range of things: relaxing, meditation, a lot of stuff you're kind of into.
Yeah,
You'll
definitely.
probably enjoy going to a holistic fair.
Yeah, that's the kind of places
Because
that I go.
a lot of your kind of people are there.
Yeah.
So you would probably enjoy it.
Definitely.
And, so I'll be there in Hot Springs, which is held in a haunted hotel. So
nice.
Not saying I'll be ghost hunting during the event in Hot Springs, but I will. Next one is, of course, November 5th, the next weekend, History Haunts and Legends in Jefferson, Texas. Call for information. You can only get information. There's no website, no Facebook page. 903-601-3375 for information and tickets to that event. And then the one I had just this past weekend obligated myself to go to is, of course, the Fairfest Paracon in New Orleans. This is new. All these groups have combined and are going to run this event. They got a new chairperson, which I'll show here. Phoenix Jansen. She will be a special guest. She's a psychic and pretty much running the event, as you can see, the committee chairwoman. And this is next October. October is a fun month to be in New Orleans, and she'll be announcing later on location, times, etc. Any more details? So I'll keep everybody up to date. This is a brand new announcement, brand new event, and I've already obligated myself to be there. I've gotten some incredible evidence. If people have watched my show the last 2 nights for my 13 shows of Halloween, I've shown some of the things that I got into in New Orleans, and tonight. Well, I'm dating myself. I keep thinking this is a recorded show. I will be showing more of my New Orleans trip on Tuesday night, and Wednesday I probably go with something else. I'm not sure. Thursday will be this show. Friday I'm probably going to do I don't know. Maybe just do some personal things. But anyway, that's the advertising. We still got about 20 some odd minutes, so we have to call it quits for this hour. Hopefully the internet will allow us to finish this hour now. We're getting later and later, so my signal should be getting stronger and at least having one.
Awesome.
What else did you want to cover? We've covered some of my personal experiences.
Yeah.
You want to? Are you going to be appearing at any events, Paracons, next year?
So initially, when I stopped traveling, I told myself I'm going to refrain from so many events because what was happening, I was gone every weekend. But next year I have events of my own that I'm putting on and bringing it back here in Wise County in the Norton, Virginia area, in the Kentucky area, because I'm right here. I'm at Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia. It's just one big area that's attached. I'm thinking about going up to Michigan. I'm applying for a speaking position and gallery reading up there. Have spiritual retreats happening all throughout next year. Getting ready to have a gallery reading, the first ever here in our area at an old theater. It used to be the Virginia Kentucky Opry. That's happening November the 12th. Like, you guys can check out all that's going on if you follow us on Facebook. And of course, you can get there by going to the website that's scrolling below. Just a lot of neat stuff going on. I'm putting on my first spiritual fair June 17th, 2023. And we're bringing the Appalachian folk magic back into our mountains because it has been long traditions that nobody talks about the granny women, about the seventh sons, about the people who have all these healing abilities and have nowhere to focus that energy back. They don't have anybody to share this information with. They want to grow, they want to be so much more, but they don't have an outlet because we are in Bible Belt. But that's changing. The whole world is changing. We're trying to make a place, a sanctuary for people to be able to come and heal and learn and grow and just feel like they're not crazy, because this can make you feel like you are, and especially if it's something that you've struggled with since a child. It's believing in yourself. So we kind of instill that into people. So Michigan, which happens around, I think, August, if we get approved for our gallery reading, we'll be up there. If not, we'll try to hit it up next year. But other than that, just events that we're pulling here. Pretty busy year for us.
Okay. Have you noticed where the vibes seem to be a little bit different now because of the issues we're having with in Ukraine and Taiwan and Korea?
It started way before the issues there. So I made a post, and it was more of a prophetic blog. I write a lot of blogs on my website, and it's stuff that I channel, the information that I'm given. And I was told by Spirit that there were going to be some things changing. The energy's obviously been changing for years, ever since COVID hit us. And leading up to COVID, we were going into the conjunction, which we are in the age of Aquarius, which is the creative time, the art time, the time where things were going to switch. So some people believe that the magnetic North Pole is switching, and it's kind of weird because some of the messages that I've channeled from higher beings that I've worked with is that this is what's happening, and the world needs to prepare themselves. Although it seems like everybody around me is preparing themselves with like food and products and stuff like that, it instills a lot of fear into people. So I'm seeing a lot of that. The fear makes the collective energy, because we're all connected, we're all one, that collective energy is felt through all of us. That fear is put out there by politics, by the news, all that stuff that I do not follow and I do not even have part of, because I don't feel like that's my world. That's not why I'm here. That's not what I was sent here to do. And it only brings my vibration level down. So yeah, everybody's changing, everybody's awakening. There's people who are awakening and learning that things are not ever how they thought they were, that we've been lied to as a society. And that's not politics. That is just the cold, hard truth about who we are, because our origins as humans date back way further than history will ever tell you, or science. And I think people need to hear that. When we talk about ancient civilizations, we hear about all the same things. If you are interested in the ancient civilizations and you educate yourself on them, it's all one. We're all one. But there is something bigger out there, right? So the energies of the astrological world, we get under that too. That affects us if we're born under certain signs going into the zodiac. But if we're also vibrating on a certain level, something has to come to a head. A lot of people says it's the end of times. If you want to go that far, go ahead. But this is what I'm saying in that sense, is the end of times is the end of this physical world in a sense, but it's different. Some things need to fall so we can realize what the world is truly about, and that's love and compassion, and that's living a more simpler, more primal, more native-y kind of way, and that's going back to the earth. We have, as a society, grown so out of control, with mental, like the egos, everything. It really takes tolls on us. And if anything, the last 3 years have shown us is that there are secrets that have been kept, if people didn't already know, from us for a very long time about who we are and what is truly around us. So you see a lot of mental health crisis going on right now, which is why the spiritual aspect of who we are should be taught. People should be screaming this from the rooftops. Doctors, psychiatrists, whatever it is, should be sitting down and teaching people these coping mechanisms and try to understand themselves, instead of throwing shit at them and expecting them to try to deal with it. That's not what's going on here. We are being awakened, and there's no stopping that. So the fear, you got to overcome fear, people. If you let fear rule you, that is all you're going to live by, is fear, and that controls our emotions. So just really take a step back and know that the things that you need to learn isn't so much about going to buying up all this food and all that. It's nice to be prepared, but learn everything around you. Pay attention. Your land, look around your resources. Do you got medicine around you and the plants? That's what we need to be looking at right there. It's the sources that we have around us that we can use. And more importantly, is to find your people. We're seeing it all the time. As a spiritual person myself, my tribe, my people that I vibe with, we have been coming in closer to each other, and everybody is creating communities around the world. It's not just me. There's plenty of other people this will resonate with, because they feel that. They feel that need to be pulled off of grid, away from society, because that's not the society we want anymore, or like ever feel connected to. Have you not ever feel like, for me, I'm like, this is not right. This is not the way the world should be, and this is not my world, and so that's what you really have to tell yourself. You have to be like, this is not my world, and this is all meant to make me fail, because we know that our emotions control us. Our emotions control the law of attraction. We manifest and we perceive what our life's about, when we really get into the thick of it and try to understand everything. I know I went way down a hole there, but I hope everybody understood that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we still got a few minutes. Is there any other points you would like to make about what you offer to help people?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I'm an energy worker. I do distant healing. So you don't have to be in person for me to do distant healing with you. We can be over a video chat. We can do a Facebook call, whatever. I don't have a working phone. That's because of the lifestyle I live. I try to be more off grid as much as possible anyway. But also I offer in-person past life regressions. I take you back through past lives by putting you under hypnosis through guided meditation. And we work on things through that. I do oracle card readings that are online, and we can do them distantly as well. Lord, I think I need to like think about this for a second. But anyway, that's kind of like in what I do. I teach a lot. So we have guided meditation classes that are available online. They're self-paced. The retreats are big because Spirit has really been talking a lot to me about teaching others, and to do that I have to be able to keep it back home, right? So this is the home for the holidays kind of like kickoff for us. So yeah, that it's just really just helping others with the knowledge that I've been given, and healing and understanding, changing their life, changing my life every day. Because although I'm a healer, I'm still healing every day. And I cannot really, for me, you have to be able and open to understanding healing yourself. But because I can't change you, I can plant seeds. So if I can plant a seed in someone to make them understand themselves a little bit more, to overcome traumas in their life, from whatever it may be, life's, generational trauma or traumas, that new traumas in life, to overcome, to live a better life. That is my goal in life. And to be able to have a place for people to come and to learn, to learn about things, not just spirituality, but everything that has to do with our souls, our powers of who we are. Everybody is capable of this, and I just want to give that to the world, and that's why I'm here, and it's a beautiful thing. How can you ever go wrong with that?
This is true. Trying to think of what else we need to cover here. We got your services covered. You're the kind of the lifestyle that you lead. How much time do you put into teaching people? Is this a major thing in your life? Do you have
This is
you got to spend time with your children, I'm sure.
So I had to learn to let go. I had a normal job like normal people at one time, and I did this on the side. Like this was my other. I led two lives. So I live in a poverty-stricken area. I don't live high on the hog, and I don't really care about that. Money does not rule me, but I live off of making products here at home. Everything. I got a little shop online on Facebook. It's called Appalachian Roots. You guys can check that out. By supporting us, you help us to get us into the sanctuary a lot quicker, which is where I'm sitting in right now. Is one of the rooms on the sanctuary property, and paintings behind us. We do shamanic journey painting with people. There's just so much. I don't know. It's there's a lot. Like whenever you give over completely, nothing scares you anymore. Okay, people. So the universe is always waiting for you to realize that, for you to be able to live the life that you truly want to. So for me, I quit my job. I felt the calling, and I said, I can't do this anymore. I know what my calling is, and I'm supposed to do it full time. And so I hustle. I do whatever I can in my life to make money, to my family and myself, and my future of what I want to do with my dreams and my ambitions in life. And Spirit always provides. So I make things, I barter. I do readings, whatever I can do to get me through the next,
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a hustler.
Was there anything else? Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to cover tonight? Because we're reaching the end of this hour.
Yeah.
And we have options. We can either wrap it up in the next, say, 6 or 7 minutes, or we can do another hour show if you like. This is all up to
okay.
you.
So we'll wrap it up, and I only say that because I have a job to go to in the morning. Um, I my partner's niece, she has cerebral palsy, and I sit with her 3 days a week. So that's one of my little side jobs that I do. And I have to get up early in the morning for that. So probably just wrap it up. But
Yes,
I've
okay.
enjoyed this.
If you, yes, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd be happy to talk with you anytime.
We'll have to. You just have to keep up with. We'll have to keep up and stuff. I really enjoy this. There's so much more to you that you need to understand.
Oh, me, huh?
Yeah.
I'm a complicated person.
Who ain't?
To be honest, one thing you don't know about me, I was adopted at birth.
Nice. Yeah.
I have no idea of my biological parents or grandparents or anything. Of course, it comes up when you get to my age. Every doctor wants to know, do you have a family history of heart issues or diabetes or anything like that? And of course, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that's rough. That's also too, if we talk about trauma, when we talk about generational trauma, it's trauma that is inherited from our parents. So the things that you have to heal or have healed in your life is traumas from your parents. No matter how you was raised by your adoptive parents, you still have that trauma that carried on from your other parents. So that's another thing too, is not knowing. So I guess it was a closed adoption. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was one of those adopted at birth. The woman had agreed, well, my biological mother agreed to give me up because she could not support me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And she did. It was remember back in 1956, abortion was illegal, so there wasn't many options there.
Right.
That she was just if she could not support me, there's no other choice but to give me up. And she went through the legal process so she could give birth in a hospital. And I was just taken away from her, and that was it.
Yeah. Gotcha. So yeah, there's probably a lot of things, but most importantly, it's what your origins are, what your soul is, and what you feel inside of you. And maybe it's a journey that you need to take yourself on. Have you ever done DNA ancestry?
Do what?
Have you ever done DNA and the ancestry DNA?
I've been asked that question several times. I have not yet. Maybe in this next year, because we've had our issues here. The wife went under spinal surgery. She lost her job. So we've had some financial issues.
I get it.
This is not. I've been trying to get this show started. It's been a lot of issues. Hopefully next year we can continue what we're doing now, is getting our act together.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's always, no matter what, it's always going to be something, but you have to enjoy your life in them moments. And the reason I ask about ancestry DNA, I had my ancestry done because I was very curious about my heritage, like where I come from. See, I'm Mullins, like I'm part Mullins. So I have that they don't know a lot about Mullins, but my family, it's obvious. You can see it in my family. My mother looks full-blown native, but and we part our Cherokee too. But anyway, it's so interesting because I've had people actually reach out to me from the app that were adopted in my family distantly, and I didn't know. I had to ask my grandmother. It's like, who would have been her daddy? It's like they're asking, they were adopted and didn't know. It's a very, very useful program. If you can find it, usually during the holidays, you can find it on sale for about like $60 versus $100.
That may be something we'll look into next year. All right, Let's go ahead and wind it up.
All right.
It's been Holly. It's been a great pleasure. I'm glad we finally got together and did this. We will have to do it again sometime.
Yes, please do.
All right. You take care of yourself. And we'll see you around the internet.
All right. See you around.
All right. That's going to be our show tonight. I apologize for all the internet interruptions during these 2 hours, but that's just the way it goes when I do this out in the country. Hey, I live out in the woods. All right. And tonight we had a little thing where she's out in the woods too, and both of us don't have the best internet connection. All right, everyone, we are going to go ahead and wind it up for while I still got internet, and we're going to end it. I gotta get out of here. I will be back tomorrow night, which will be Friday, and we'll do. I'm not sure what I'll do yet, but I will have, of course, the series of Halloween shows, of 13 Halloween shows. We will continue that. I could throw the banner up, couldn't I? We will be doing this for the rest of the Halloween season through November 1st. All right. Let's get out of here. And with the standard outgo, Bones, take it away.
Thanks for watching our show. Be sure to tune in to next week as once again we journey way down south into Bayou Country for another heaping portion of Southern Fried Paranormal with Len Dorman and Bones. Make sure to like, share, and follow. Y'all come back now. You hear?
All right, everybody, good night and have a good Halloween season. See you around. Good night. Happy Halloween. Yeah. Ha 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 ha.